Back again with the Cecil Weekly, Cecil.tv holiday special, and boy is it really getting festive now. We have with us the elf himself, my good friend Ray Herwig, known as Handy Herwig. Ray, welcome.
Thank you, Bob. Nice to meet you.
Now you are going to share some helpful holiday hints with our viewers and let them know how to keep things safe and easy and fun for the holidays. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, that's what I was prepared to talk about, some of the holiday festivities that are so much fun, but could also be fraught with inherent dangers. So the first thing you'd probably want to do in creating that holidays festivities is bring a tree into your house. Well, there are numerous trees that you can select from and numerous ways of procuring them. And I recommend that you buy the tree anyway, so you don't have to meet any local law enforcement agencies. But there are numerous stores along Route 40 that offer a pre-cut tree. Now, when you buy a pre-cut tree, you really don't know where it's come from. It could have come from out of state. It could have been delivered for 3 weeks or more. And you want to find out if the needles still have a vibrant...
It might not be fresh, you're saying.
It could not be fresh. It might be stale if they call trees stale. But one way to test that out would be to merely run your fingers through the pine or the needles themselves. And if an excessive amount falls out, it's in all probability dry. Like Linus used to do with his tree. He'd bounce it on the ground and you'd see them all fluttering down until ultimately he was left with sticks. Well, you don't want sticks in your house. Not at Christmas time, anyway.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, Handy Herwig, but wouldn't an aspirin in the water prevent all that?
No, the only thing aspirins really prevent would be heart attacks. Oh. So I don't think it's really beneficial to the tree. Now, what you could do, and what you should do when you get a tree that's pre-cut from one of the local establishments, is cut at least an inch off of the bottom of the tree. That will ensure there's be new sap that's starting already to seep, and then immerse that tree in your tree holder in water. That would help with keeping that tree vibrant and alive a little bit longer, because you're putting hot lights on it and elements.
Yeah, and then when you have to water it, you have to reach down with all those sharp needles. Isn't there a way you can get around that?
Well, there's an easy way of getting around that. If you take a normal garden funnel or a household funnel that you would measure ingredients and pour them into a small bottle, attach that to some sort of tube. I have a clear polyurethane type tube that's used in plumbing and various uses, ice maker tubes. Run that tubing through your tree so that when you do want to water it, you put the funnel in the tubing, add the water away from the nicks and cuts, and the only thing you truly have to monitor is how much water you're putting in. Because we really don't, water damages hardwood floors, so you really, if you have a hardwood floor, you don't want water all over it.
You are the handiest.
If you have rugs, you don't want them wet, because then they start smelling musty. And there's nothing worse than musty.
Well, that's in the house. What about going out in the field and actually getting a tree?
Well, for years, when we first purchased our house, we had no trees. And we thought it would be a great idea to go out and physically dig the tree ourselves. Now, they have farms that'll allow this as well. Some of them actually provide you with the shovels necessary to cut or to dig the tree out of the ground. The rule of thumb there is you take the width of the tree, and for sake of conversation, say it's 3 foot wide. Well, you want to start your digging at least 3 foot wide so that you're ensuring you're getting down to the very root of the tree without damaging what they call a taproot. Now, taproot is something that's normally towards the center of the tree, and it provides the most nourishment, almost like a major artery, and that runs through the earth. So you want to try to avoid cutting that taproot, and by digging out so far around it, you're almost ensuring it when you start to rock it and pry it open that you're going to get the taproot that comes along with it. But the inherent danger in that one is, as I said earlier, your daughter hits you in the head with a shovel.
This happened to you?
This happened to me. My daughter was 3 years old. We were out. It was a great family type affair. And the tree farm, as I recall, was somewhere in the Conowingo area. They escorted you around. You went to pick it yourself, and you dug it up. And when you dug it up, you kind of raised a little flag, and they would come by and pick it up for you and cart it back to the sales area. Because you really don't want to cart them
that
either.
sounds like a lot of weight.
You know, back in the day, I was a younger man. And it was still a very heavy tree. A 3-foot ball of dirt with a standard 5-foot tree is somewhere in excess of 250 pounds. So it's kind of heavy. But they would pick it up for you. And as I said, bring it up to where you pay for it. They'll load it in your pickup truck or whatever vehicle you want to put it in. Pickup truck's preferable. And off you go. Now, getting it into the house is another situation.
Yeah. That sounds like a great idea. A lot of people want to cut their tree. Do you recommend, is there any way you can make this job a little bit easier? Because they give you a little saw like this, about like that, and you're on the ground.
Well, when you're doing it with kids, chainsaws are inherently dangerous, so you want to try to avoid children. But
maybe a hatchet?
A hatchet would work. Again, you got to be careful how you swing, but the tool of preference for a tree is this handy thing right here. It's just, and it's down. Cordless. Now you've already cordless too, so you can carry it out in the middle of the woods.
Well, Handy Herwig, let's get I'll tell you what, let's reenact the old John Henry story. I got my little hatchet, you got your saw, let's go. May the best man win. Happy holidays to each and every one of you.
Merry Christmas.